What's up, brothers? Hope everybody's doing well out there. You know, a lot of people are under the impression that 80% of women are only willing to hook up with the top 20% of men. Is that something you've heard before? You know, we're in the manosphere. We're in the dating and relationships part of YouTube. Alpha male shit. We hear about this stuff all the time. Is that something that you believe? Well, let me tell you something. Listen to how much bullshit this is. Do a search. Go search on the internet. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it afterwards to fact check me. Look up what percent of men are virgins at the age of 20, and then look up what percent of men are virgins at the age of 25, and then look up what percent of men are virgins at the age of 30. And then you'll know the truth. 98% of women are hooking up with the top 98% of men. That is factually accurate. You know, this 80% of women are only willing to hook up with the top 20% of men thing, that's a lie. You know, that's something that's being sold to you, and it's robbing you of your chance. You know, if you're a guy out there that's 21 years old and you're still a virgin, and you start to dig into this stuff and you start to watch a lot of that content, and you're under the impression that if you're not a top 20% man, you're never going to have sex, you're never going to have a relationship, you're never going to have a family, that makes you want to give up. You know, that in and of itself is a major part in what's stimulating this non-existent so-called incel epidemic. We don't have an incel epidemic. We have a late bloomer epidemic. You know, and the statistics show. Look, only 50% of men are going to bloom in high school. You know, those are going to be the guys that join the football team. They join the basketball team. Did you do that? If you did, I guarantee you got girls when you were a teenager. You know, but other guys, you know, they're going to be late bloomers. They're not going to get it quite as early. But it gets worse. You know, there is one part of this that's kind of ugly. A lot of these guys that are falling in this late bloomer category, rather than blooming, you know, rather than becoming a man that women want to be with, a man that other men respect, they want to take the looks maxing path. And I know I get a lot of shit. A lot of people get mad when I, you know, belittle looks maxers and looks maxing. But here's the thing. Looks maxing is an exercise that makes you look like something. Okay, so let me give you an example. If you put a crown on your head and pretend you're the King of England, you have looks maxed yourself to look like the King of England. Okay, but you didn't actually become the King of England. Does that make sense? So you have a lot of guys nowadays that are into this superficial bullshit, and they want to look like men. You know, they want to try their best to look like a man. And, you know, they see guys that have achieved things, guys that have bloomed, early bloomers, driving Bugattis, millions of dollars. You know, and they want to look like that guy, and they want to pretend they are that guy. But again, that's only robbing you of your chances of actually becoming something. You don't want to looks max. You don't want to take shortcuts. You have to go through a transition period where you transform yourself. If you're a guy, and I know 50% of my audience is younger than me, they're, you know, in their 20s or early 30s. 50% of my audience is older than me. And a lot of the older guys can confirm, because a lot of them were probably late bloomers. It ain't over. Don't let anybody rob you of your chance. Fuck that shit. If anybody looks at you and says it's over, cut them off immediately. Cut that bullshit off immediately. If they tell you you're coping, cut them off immediately. Don't buy into that culture of quitters. That's never going to get you anywhere. The bottom line is, the majority of men out there in 2024, young men especially, are destined, they're doomed to be late bloomers. Not permanently, they still have a chance, but most men are growing up fatherless. They're finding a father figure on the internet. They're studying what that guy does, and they want to be just like him, and they're just faking it. They're living in pretend land. You have to transform yourself. You have to go through a transition period. And like I said, some guys do it by playing on the football team in high school. They go from being a frail little teenage nerd to a buff, jacked Giga Chad that all the cheerleaders want, getting college scholarships. Some guys, they're virgins when they graduate high school. They have nothing. They go to college, they make a name for themselves. Maybe they major in something that's going to make them a lot of money, and they build their confidence, and they hit their stride, and they become that guy. It's just a few years later. But their payoff might be even bigger than the first guys. Some guys, they join the military. They join the military, they're young, dumb, have no direction, no discipline, can't tell anybody no. They'll just do whatever, somebody says, here, drink this. Okay. They don't have the ability to say, no, fuck that, I don't want to do that. Maybe they join the military and they gain that ability, that skill. They transform themselves. Or maybe they start their own business, or maybe they move away from their hometown. And they go and they start out fresh and start out new, and they hit the gym and they get in shape and they work on their style and they make some money and they become somebody. But no matter how you transition, no matter how you transform, that's what it's all about. It's about becoming a man that's respectable, a man that women would want to be with, a man that men want in their corner. They want you to be on the team. They want you to be around. You're important. You matter. That's what you have to become. We don't have an incel epidemic. We have a late bloomer epidemic. And a lot of these late bloomers are being robbed of their chances to bloom because people are telling them it's over if you don't join a high-value man course. Then they join that and they realize it was bullshit. So then they go to the black pill and all that shit. And I have friends in all these different areas. Don't get me wrong, I've been doing this shit for a long time. I've met all different types of people. Red pill, black pill, PUA. But one thing I'll say, I don't have to disrespect anybody. I don't have to call anybody out a name. I will simply push a message, and it can be the complete opposite of theirs. It can be 100% in competition with what they're saying. And I'll allow the viewers to pick and choose which is right and which is wrong. But what really pushed me to want to turn the camera on and start talking to you guys tonight was just the fact that I see so many guys still. You would think the jig was up, but it's not. It's still going on today. Guys pushing this narrative that 80% of women are only willing to get with the top 20% of men. And the only way that they can back this or verify this is through dating apps, Tinder and OkCupid, or whatever apps people are using now. Here's what you have to understand about dating apps. Dating apps are 100% reliant on looks. The only thing anybody knows about you on a dating app is the way you look. And you only get so many swipes per day. So you don't want to waste them on the bottom 80%, right? That's common, like that's normal. But out there in the real world, women need a man that can take it slow when he needs to take it slow. He can move fast when he needs to move fast. He's the alpha fucks and the beta bucks. I know that sounds a little crazy, but get this. A lot of guys are teaching men to play this role of the alpha male that fucks all the girls. Here's what you have to understand about that. It's kind of sad when you think about it. Any man that's in a relationship, any man that's a father, any man that's a husband, is technically a beta bucks. And that's something that people really, they shame men for being that. Not everybody, but I'm saying in general, you see a lot of shaming of men who are beta buckses. Look, my dad was probably as alpha as you could possibly get. But damn right he beta bucks. You know, he buckled down and he took care of the family financially. That would include my mom, my sister, me. You know, a man has to be able to do both. You don't have to. If you want to be single, go be single. I don't shame the MGTOWs. You know, if you want to go off and do your own thing and you just want to be single, I don't shame you. You know, the only area that I have a problem with is the area where you have men who want to be that. They want relationships. They want to get laid. They want to start families. Whatever it is they want to do that. So they're seeking guidance about how to do that. And the guidance they're receiving is actually pushing them further away from it. You know, and nowadays, what you see in the manosphere is you see quote unquote alpha males. Somebody in my front yard. What the hell's he doing? You know, you see alpha males arguing with plastic Barbies. Women who have plastic surgeries. Fake lips, fake tits, Botox, covered in makeup, hair dye. Nothing about them resembles what they actually look like. It's all fake. It's all looks-max. And they're airheads and they don't know what they're talking about. And then you basically see guys going back and forth with them. And over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, that's where men have been getting their masculine leadership, their guidance, learning about intersexual dynamics from that. A plastic Barbie is not a real woman. You know, and a guy that quits, a guy that gives up is not a real man. A real woman cares about her family. You know, if she has kids, she takes care of her kids and her husband in the house. I'm not saying she can't work, but that's what she does. She's a loving woman. She's a loyal woman. And she takes care of her family. If she doesn't have kids yet, if she's not married yet, she probably helps her mom out, helps her grandma out, helps her sister out. But she cares about family. You know, women are people. Women focus on people they care about. A good woman isn't out at the club with fake tits, hooking up with alpha males, high value men. That's just that whole demographic of people and that whole that whole ideology that comes out of that is fake and makes no sense. You know, if you're a normal person, a good man, a good guy, you shouldn't pay much attention to it. But hey guys, I didn't mean this to be negative. I want this to be a positive video. Because I know about 50% of my audience is younger than me, 50% older than me. A lot of the older guys were probably late bloomers. A lot of the younger guys probably haven't bloomed yet. They probably grew up without fathers that were there in their corner to help them bloom. You know, when you have a strong father in the household, you can pick up where he left off. You inherit his masculinity. You inherit his, in some cases, his financial situation. Maybe he owns property in a business. But most of all, you inherit his self-esteem. You know, if you're walking down the street with your father and a mugger walks by and tries to rob you, but your father is prepared to take on that situation and he handles it in a way that makes you feel like, okay, yeah, we can conquer the world. You know, that mugger feared for his life. You know, as a kid, when you see your father as a superhero like that, you inherit that. You know that's inside of you. It's in your DNA. It's in your genetics. But a lot of men don't have that. 50% of men don't have that. So they're out there seeking it elsewhere. But like I said, where you want to get it from is through transformation. Okay? Could be sports, could be the military, could be church, could be the gym, could be your career. But 3 years from now, you should bump into the people you see on a daily basis right now, and they shouldn't even know who the fuck you are. They should look at you and say, I don't even fucking recognize you. You're a whole different man. Holy shit. You know, what happened to you? Wow. I need to get on what you're on. What is that? You know, you have to go through that transformation. And we all do. I did. A lot of you did. Some of you haven't done it yet. But you can. And that's what you should be prioritizing. But hey guys, sun's going down. I'm going to go ahead and finish this one. And I hope this video was somewhat informative. But that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.